line. Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 In love with the ride. Burning rubber smells real nice. Fuel it up once or twice. Come on, fast is the way to drive. Crowds all on their feet, not one bothered by the heat. Imagine them in the driver's seat. Checkered flag would be sweet. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Everybody get ready. On your feet. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Crank it up. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Crank it.
Yeah, alright. I just realized my mic was not even working there, so anyway, presented in part by Spartan Logistics Management LLC, R&R Racewear, Loudpill Gaming TV, SimSpeedShop.com, Track Time Entertainment, and by 5 Star Graphics. A very big thank you to everybody that tuned in and helped them out with these guys today. As we are here now live at Bristol, Tennessee, it is time for the cutoff race here in the Spartan Logistics Management LLC iRacing IROC Series, with some heavy hitters ready to bring it down and bring it through. And I do apologize again in advance that I had a little malfunction on my mic. We were kind of rushing here into the booth here, making sure everything got ready to go. Unfortunately, it didn't quite go as according to plan, so I do apologize here, guys. Yeah, Chris Mefford saying he couldn't hear us there, so that's good news. At least we got it up and running now, so we're all ready to go here. As you see, the tracks right now just getting cleared up for the field here today. Got a whole host of drivers ready to line up, put this thing on the track, ready to put a fight up out on the speedway. I think it's about time, though, we have a little listen in with some of these guys here and have a quick little talk with some of the guys real quick before they go out on the track. One of them being in that 33, that is Kevin McCann here now joining us on the line here. Kevin, as you get ready to go here for this race, it's Bristol. You told me last time when you won, you're like, I'm not really sure if I'm too ready for these short tracks, but I'm going to give it all I got.
Yeah, I think tonight's going to be a race of survival, so that's definitely going to be my strategy going into it, taking it easy, trying to save that right front. It's a tight racetrack, and just try to stay out of trouble.
When all is said and done, how many think you're going to get that old bump and tagging around here as Bristol's known for?
I'd be surprised if you see a undamaged car by the end of the night, to be honest. It's a tough one to drive for sure, even tougher to pass, so I expect to see a lot of that going on tonight.
For sure there, and of course the playoff drivers looking to get into their cutoff line, which is going to be even more so tougher than not. But Kevin, we really appreciate you coming on board here today, sir.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Number 33, ladies and gentlemen, Kevin McCann here having a little chat with us here as we now present to you guys live here at Bristol, Tennessee, our grading order for today's action Here, let's start him on the pole. Troy Radford, your number 1 seed in the 94 is outside. It'll be a 33, Kevin McCann. At row number 2, it's going to be Cody Harger. The 66 is outside. That's the 3, Brian McCann. Row number 3 is Brandon Medford, and the 83 is outside. That's the 46, Chris Medford. At row number 4, Neil Quick will be in the number 2 is outside. The 96, David Trumbley. At row 5, we see Chris Wally, and the number 5 is outside. Matt Kopp in the number 22. In row number 7, we're going to see that will be, of course, David E. Brown. The 7 is outside. Tim Schofield pilots the number 12. In row number 8, it's Ray Radford. The 47 is outside. Cook Quick in the number 54. Our final starter today, in the back of the pack, the number 1, Aaron Smith. Now, Royce fans, if you're curious, you've probably seen these cars all kind of cleaned up, all a little different looking. They have a green little tint around them and a little green tint around the cars here. That is to represent their playoff contention. Now, just a heads up, though, where we got word, Chris Medford is in this as a playoff driver, but the 46 was not able to get the paint scheme done up on the car, so he has a little bit of a workaround here to have to deal with. But again, well, I guess he actually did get it. Okay, never mind. They told me it wasn't popping up on our end. Well, pops up on my end just fine. Sea of green, what that means is they are ready for the playoffs to kick on away. And as we kick on them down, off of turn number 3, down in turn number 4, it's time to showcase some next-gen heavy action racing here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Bristol, Tennessee's on their feet, so are we. Let's get down to business as the green flag will fly for the 200 lap main event. Here we go. Hard knock and charge right out of the gate here. And the number 94, Troy Radford, falls slow down the low lane there as Kevin McCann gets a good jump on the outside. His battles for survival, he said, is point blank. Keep that right front tire in check and avoid trouble at all costs. He's doing that right now and then some here as he continues to muscle the field on down. Onboard camera here with 96 David Trumbley, and to be honest with you, I'm just kind of testing out a camera here on my end. We had a new rig kind of come into the studio, so I had to literally change things up and had to fix a few things around. I wanted to make sure it working all right. At least I know that's working good. Chris Wally, by the way, knowing that 5's working pretty good, got a little pass there on the 96 David Trumbley as he passes them down from the spot there in the number 8 line. Right now, Neil Quick in number 2 here with a guy that came so close to winning the regular season championship points. Pretty much downed it out by Brian McCann. Number 3, really late into the season, trying to get some going here in the playoff season part as he's trying to possibly aim towards a season championship here. That would mean a lot to him and his crew for everything he's been through and everything he's had to fight for just to get to this moment and get to this time, and he knows every bit of it. But the one thing we've always said is you can never count out the number 3 of Brian McCann. And the points race right now, he's pretty much locked and loaded. Same with Neil, as long as they don't make anything too crazy or mistakes here. Aaron Smith as well, supposed to be racing tonight. It looks he is in the playoffs. I don't know how this will go against the scoring, as he has not been able to get the car out on the track. Well, race fans, if you do remember one thing though, last time we were here, that 94 Troy Radford, let me tell you something, my friends. This cat right here, he had a field day and a half here at Bristol Motor Speedway. One of the top sharks and one of the top dogs. He was the guy everybody was trying to knock down, trying to take down off the list, but no one could find a way to do it, and he was the one that could go away with the victory. But in this case right now, he's going to have some work to do with Kevin McCann running around here, but at the moment, we've got caution down here. Doug Wysocki and Tim Schofield both wrecked out. Entering to the PTM Instant Replay we go. Let's take a look at the replay. Presented in part by CitizenSpeedShop.com. Lost in a turn. They're off turn number 4. Kind of drove right up, then back down. Again, you can see how difficult these cars are just to handle and steer on this very short track. Remember, this is a driver's track, as I like to refer to it as. Testing, patience, timing, everything goes with running this place. And this certainly has one of them here. Duff break there for the number 12 and the number 34. Both drivers are going to be damaged up pretty bad throughout the rest of this race unless they get that damage fixed up here. So while the field gets kind of straight back in line, let's go ahead and have a chat with our drivers right now. In the number 5 tonight, he's already made a pretty quick pass and a pretty quick little dash. That is the 5, Chris Wally.
Let's keep leader on the inside.
I thought you were going to talk to us about that there, Wally.
Hey, you got me there?
Yeah, I got you. I was thinking, wait, we were supposed to keep anything killed? I thought we were supposed to talk with you.
Yeah, sorry about that. I had a question from the drivers there. So what was your question there? I'm sorry.
I was gonna say you've been hard charged and hard running out of the gate here. How's the track holding up for you?
Yeah, pretty good so far. Me and Trumley got racing there for a minute, but you know, stage 1 doesn't end till lap 80, so we're going to try to save some tires here and try instead of going back and forth. We do have one fast repair tonight, so those guys have just gotten that accident. They'll get back out there and be okay, but just trying to survive tonight.
Trying to survive indeed was the same thing we heard from Kevin earlier on, but he did make a point about the right front tire. When you're driving up on the high side, does that right front kind of dig in a little bit more than, say, the other tires?
Yeah, a little bit more. I'll say he's better at probably feeling that and seeing that than I am. So for me, it's trying not to do what the 12 just did and turn myself tonight. So again, trying to survive, have as little damage as possible and make it on to the round of 12.
For sure there. Former champion in your own right, looking to try to make it big and go for it all here. Good luck down there, Wally.
Thank you.
Chris Wally, ladies and gentlemen, here, former champion, as I mentioned. As you can see, that little checker flag there on the bottom left corner of his area there. He is one of only 3 champions we've crowned here on PTM Racing TV. Actually, he was crowned champion before we ever came onto the show and actually came out to broadcast these guys. Well, originally it was him that took it home. Then they introduced the McCann boys, and that number 3 down there, Brian McCann, was absolutely picture-perfect dominant in Season 2. But then we go into Season 3, and Aaron Smith just kind of comes in and just says, hey guys, how y'all doing? While Kevin McCann was in a hot dogfight just trying to get that championship locked. Now here in Season 4, everything has changed, and the landscape of the IROC Challenge Series has now really been put forth and set sailed out on the track. Race fans, we welcome and thank you again for tuning in. I do apologize for my little no voice thing going out there. It's kind of hard to get around that sometimes, I will admit up front. Kind of remembering that we have some audios we got to click up and touch into, but nevertheless, as we get the green flag back on out, it's an early start for the 33 at Kevin McCann. See the field just kind of trying to dive in certain spots, trying to find some openings when they can. And you can see how difficult it is to get up in that outside line and get a runoff. Then when the bottom lane also can come down and cave you in quicker than you realize. The side-by-side action here that this track's been known for is definitely hitting up and putting up. As drivers continue to find the limits and try to find themselves a way around it. Field's starting to move up closer to the run. Look at this here, the battle of the Meffords, the MFers themselves. 83 is Brandon Mefford, and then 46 is Chris Mefford. In a bit of a dog leg fight shootout there with his family member. Trying to make a move off down in corner number 4, but can't quite gain the speed, garner the traction. You can see though, he is also kind of being a little bit more hesitant on jamming the throttle down compared to say like what Brandon was doing a minute ago, because again, And took some notes off what the 12 and the 34 went through earlier on, trying to see if maybe there's something long-term wise that they can find comparatively to everybody else. It's a very bold strategy, especially when they got to get to lap 80 before we get a caution pop out for the stage break. But it can get very intensifyingly crazy. It can get very intensifyingly nuts if they are not too out of it here. Off of turn number 2 here, down the back straightaway. Look at the number 2 now. Neil Quick starting to make a move off on the number 46, Chris Mefford. And a lot of guys are not going to try to run hard out of the gate. They're going to try to be a little bit more conservative, which they kind of have to be, in order just to make the car kind of stay away from having to use that instant repair. I guarantee you, none of these drivers right now want to use that instant repair. They want to just leave it alone and leave it be, especially considering what they're going to have to deal with later on, which is a lot of more bump ends, a lot more runs, and a lot of harder controls to really hammer down with. Points are important, yes. They're very important here on this playoffs format because, again, that can be the difference between success or failure because of how close and how tight things are. And if you're one of the fastest guys out there, you want to get as many points as you can because you don't have a lot of breathing room to kind of work around and getting those points and getting that momentum boosted up. Dog-eat-dog world, and these guys know that all too well as they continue to just smash the throttle and slam down the field and pinch everything in position, trying to line up and get themselves a little runoff here or two to hold up with. Take a look at our fast lap times here as we go on board here with David Tremblay right now, the number 96. And lap times right now at the moment are not as fast as you may think. About a 14.68 is the fastest currently, and that's being held by a guy by the name of Troy Radford, the number 94. So already Troy, the guy that last time we watched him just completely eviscerated and dominated here on PTM Racing TV, seems to be back to his old tricks and his old ways as he holds it down. Long-term wise, you know, the added effects of this car I feel like are going to be more centered around, you know, what they told about the right front tire. If it shows up too much and it starts to tear in too quickly, I think you're going to see a lot of guys trying to find openings, trying to find runs when they can, and hoping and praying that they'll get that opportunity later to use on the track, especially considering how things can be very, very difficult. Coming off the ends right now here, we are 36 laps of 200 in here. Remember, laps 80 will be our stage break, and that will get drivers recentered, re-squared up, and focus back out on the track. And it looked like, you know, we always talk about old Bristol being kind of the old bottom lane track where everyone gets all their speed from. Well, here at Bristol, the outside is a bit of a different angle here. Of course, they made the bottom steeper originally to get with a repave to actually get the drivers to get back down to that bottom and make that the preferred line, so it becomes kind of a tandem train draft to push the guys around and really make them run harder. But obviously, as we know, that didn't quite go as according to plan, and actually they found a way to make it go to the outside, and that's where all the speed and all the power comes from. So kind of backfired on them back then. No pun intended to our boys we'll see tomorrow night here on PTM Racing TV with the Backfire Racing League. But at the same time, I will say, when you can time it just right, it does make for some interesting racing because you can get those slide jobs from the bottom to the top. You can get some guys that shoot straight for the moon and hit their shot when they feel like it. They can make some impressive moves here, impressive races. And especially with that tire breakdown too at Bristol Motor Speedway, well known for. It can be a very tough little circuit and a very hard-handed little area to really work your fine-tuning, fine lines in. And Neil Quick is getting a good look at that as Brandon Bedford earlier on striving quick and striving fast, but now the rear end and the right front is starting to burn up way too much for him in his car. And here we go, straight to the bottom, the shootout onto the outside, can't quite get the pass yet. Brandon Medford, though, keeping him down on the bottom is helping him keep him away from going too quick and going too far ahead of him. And remember, those guys that are in the green tents, they have the playoffs in mind. They are the guys you to watch out for here in the round of 12. Round of 12 will bring us a fully loaded set of drivers, and really, in my opinion, definitely kind of the best of the brightest and the toughest drivers out here. Because again, when you got these playoff formats, really, you know, you can say what you want about how they're designed and how they're done, but if we're talking as a broadcaster wise, what they do is they do add a little bit of a layer of intrigue, if you will, that can really make things very difficult for guys to get really too crazy, too wound up about. And it does kind of force them to make some crazy moves in crazy situations that most drivers wouldn't even be able to do. And speaking of right now, Brandon Medford, you can see getting a good runoff on the 2 real quick as he kind of gets closer and closer to that wall. He's taking the bottom lane stick, but again, driving it that low with that kind of speed does not help that rear end or that front out anytime soon. It actually burns him up quite a bit. It kind of hurts him for that long haul. He knows this, but he's being very careful about it. Brian McCann right now ahead of Chris Medford here in the number 46. Brandon Medford's brother here trying to get up there at the 3. Brian and Chris, they've had a war of wars when it comes to racing on any of these kind of tracks, much less the mile and a half. Chris having a bit of a bad luck season here when it comes to just being under control and staying focused out here. Brian pretty much the locked and loaded gun all around. He's been the man to be, the man of the hour. And I guess you could say he was the man with almost all the power, because for most of the season it was the man with the power being the number 2, Neil Quick. But then the 3, like the old Intimidator would do, just got back out onto that track and he made everyone bend at his will. And that's exactly what Brian McCann brought to the table, was able to keep himself in that charge, in that line for a possible championship hunt. Well, Troy Radford right now is currently your race leader, as he is starting to just punch laps down further as we go. But the problem is he's got a locked and loaded gun of Kevin McCann behind him, and he's got trouble right up ahead because now he's got to find a way around lap traffic. The old short track racing issue that plagues all you dare to be the race leader, then you dare to face the lap traffic ahead of you. Doug Wysocki and Tim Schofield a little bit loose off one another. Remember, both wrecked out earlier, but they were able to get out of the way at least enough for Troy Radford to get on by. And Radford now is ahead of the game, ahead of the playing field, but that don't mean nothing to Kevin McCann. Kevin is looking to make the move and make it work. That onboard camera here with that 33 Kevin McCann just shows you how difficult and how tricky it is to get around that 94. Oh, but it looked like he might have actually bobbled him up a little bit. Now he's got bobbled up even more. The 22 back up into the wall protection. Opened the door up, and he had to get, and Troy Radford was up there with him. And Kevin McCann sneaks his way like a thief in the night in through the window and out the other side. It's Kevin McCann now, your race leader, as he's just trying to survive the lap traffic zone. Family member Brian is literally now marching to the beat of his own drum. He has been waiting a little bit to do this. Now he can start bringing on the horsepower. We take a look at our lap times here, and this is a pretty much easy comparison. It's been McCann's run, but Radford is not giving up too much here. You can see the times now starting to fade off slightly. Take a look on lap number 61. Let's see what he brings to the table. And that's by about 21,000 of a second. Radford is hurting a little bit, but he's hanging in there. The rest of your field right now kind of in a back burner end here. Cody Harker moving up there to number 12. Tim Schofield here as a 66. having some great moments this season, of course. On the mile and a half like Las Vegas and back in Atlanta, he really put on a show, put on a fight there. IROC Speedway was certainly no different as he looks for the championship hunt there. He's been one of those guys, though, man, like every time I watch him and I see him go around the track, I keep thinking, when is he going to be able to get that race win out of his back out pocket and get that out of his and out of his way? And unfortunately for him, it's not been an easy task by any means. He's had a lot he's had to endure and a lot he's had to go through just by simply coming out here and racing. Also, real quick, does everyone hear me okay? And are you seeing everything okay on your screen? Because I know earlier on everyone was saying, hey, wait a minute, we can't hear you. Well, I think you guys can hear me now. At least I know I can hear myself. Again, that's just me in general, so what do I know? Anyway. Brian McCann right now, the only guy that's currently in a bit of a battle, a little bit of a fray shot to get up there with that 94 at Radford. You can see him diamonding off extremely hard on the outside, then bringing it back down low as he exits and enters into the exit. He's not getting the speed, though, that the number 3 is getting here. He's getting a very difficult little card played out. His hands are kind of tied, and his moments are going to run down with. In the back of the pack, though, is right now lap traffic is going to be a factor for Kevin McCann, the number 7, and David E. Brown, and the 5, Chris Wally. Each trying to hang on as the nice 6 here, David Tremblay, will be put a lap down to the number 33, Kevin McCann. David trying to get to that 5 of Chris Wally right now, but here is the 33 of McCann just moving the chains on in. Same with Radford and Brian McCann. This is that old short track racing mentality. It's the old situation that pops up. And laps are starting to fade off here. We've only got about 9 to go this next time by before we're going to head up our stage break. Boy, look at that right there. Just maneuvering through all that traffic and all that momentum. Frankly, impressive, to say the least. Mike Rideout saying all good on his end. Well, Mike, appreciate you, sir. Hitting it close, hitting it pretty down and dirty here, trying to find some speed and openings. And a lot of folks kind of asked us, like, if we're going off kind of the race schedule here for what's going on with NASCAR, then how come we're not running the dirt series? Well, the IROC Challenge Series is not exactly going to throw themselves into the dirt mounds yet. They want to have a little fun and actually race the track at, well, in my opinion anyway, deserves to be the concrete asphalt circuit, which is, of course, Bristol Motor Speedway. As much as I love the dirt track version of Bristol, I'm gonna say right now I've kind of grown fond of the old asphalt surface and the asphalt terrain. I would kind of wish that NASCAR had left the actual track layout on its own and left it alone, and then, you know, go ahead to an actual dirt track if they were going to do that. Like a dedicated dirt track is a different story. They prefer to just put this one out, but I don't know. You guys be the decipher. I still will watch it either way, and I love that there's dirt on this big track because it's pretty cool, but it's kind of a bit of a different story when you just see kind of racing like this right now. You kind of want that back. It's kind of a double-edged sword, isn't it? And right now, the double-edged sword is of Radford and Brian McCann. Each driver trying to get the most amount of points here in this position as they are slowly fading off. Radford still with an advantage by a slim margin because of the little lap traffic situation for Radford. Once again, he's going to get put, doomed, and gloomed as the 3 of Brian McCann manages to make his way around. 2 to go here for the stage break. And just like that, man, Kevin McCann, the 33, told us earlier he needed to stay out of trouble and stay focused on the track. I think it's fair to say he watched his tire burn. He watched himself running hard on the ends. And this number 33 machine is going to secure an easy stage point. Stage 1 belongs to Kevin McCann. So Kevin McCann gets stage number 1 here for the number 33 Spartan Logistics Management LLC iRacing IROC Challenge Series. As we'll see the 33 Chevrolet get back on the track, put back in the field. He lapped up to number 7s. And right now, Neil Quick, Chris Wally, they're all going to be looking for some lap traffic payback and a little bit of some runoff here in the closing races. But race fans, when we come back, We are only just into stage 1 of this 200 lap main event. Which one of these drivers will come out to be top dog? Find out when we return here on PTM Racing TV. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's race has been brought to you in part by our very good friends over at Spartan Logistics Management LLC, by R&R Racewear, the official web store and merchandise line for iRacing and the IROC Challenge Series. Be sure to look up all their latest info and merch today. By Loud Pedal Gaming TV, they're smashing the loud pedal for your viewing entertainment. By SimSpeedShop.com. By Track Time Entertainment. And of course by 5-Star Graphics. A very big thank you from all of us here at PTM Racing TV, and a very big shout out to you as well for helping us out. All the sponsors and the fans that come alike here to watch the show. Without you guys, the show would be absolutely nothing. It's only our second caution of the day here. The first one, if you don't count the actual caution that brought out really earlier on, which that was again with Doug Wysocki and with Tim Schofield, both drivers getting into a bit of a heap or a little scruffle, if you will. Mainly due to Schofield, unfortunately, losing it off turn 4, couldn't quite save it and recover it in time, and got banished back to the Shadow Realm. So right now you can see this very unique style of tracks here, the dual pit lanes. Again, they have to enter in a certain way, and then they have to enter off a certain way to make the pit lane count without a penalty. There are 2 main areas to pit, as you can see, but the main area that most guys will be going, if you're the fastest qualifier, is that front stretch. And in my opinion, that is somewhat of an advantage here because of the fact that you can pretty much get right back on the track or right back into the field from that angle, from that line. Makes for an easy little shootout here and gives them quite a bit of opportunity to really run off from there. Alright, we still live? Oh yeah, we're live. Okay, well, my bad, folks. Once again, I keep forgetting that my mic is, supposed to be attached to my face here, and I guess I need to reconnect the wireless controller here. That thing has been just kind of driving me today, but... Alright, we're back on the live action here. We're back on the race. Green flag is out as we begin stage number 2. Don't worry, folks. I can promise you we ain't going to have the same troubles in the final stage here, so... Field in a hot dash, hot collaboration here, looking for some momentum, looking for some control, as every single one of these drivers continue to hang on and really put up the boots to one another. Uh-oh, lap traffic though, causing a bit of a trouble down there, and Kevin McCann is in major trouble. What has happened down here? Watch out, that traffic, whoa! Whoa, what has happened to the 33? Is there damage on that machine? I can't tell from here. We'll see this time around. Put the camera at it, guys. No damage. So the car is A-okay, but looks like it may have been a spin around if I had to guess. I really couldn't tell you. It looked like maybe he might have overshot his corner here. We'll take a look at the replay. Take a look at it from another angle here, and oh, whoa, look at this. Race leader, and you can just see how difficult this thing can be sometimes to hang on with, and the 33 found that out the hard way. And he said earlier, it's just a story of survival. If I can survive out here, I'll be okay. Well, unfortunately right now, the car is not going to be okay with him for a minute, because now he's going to have to find a way to start back from the pack and have to work his way back into the fight. His brother, though, will take the race lead over. Joining me now, race fans, here is the number 66 driver of Cody Harger. And Cody, you started back on the top 3 today here, but you're back 3 spots here in the 6th slot. How difficult is it right now to maneuver through traffic?
I'm not really trying too hard right now. I mean, that first stage, I felt pretty good early, and then all of a sudden, it just like a light switch flipped. And those guys in front of me just started walking away, and then the 2 Medfords rolled by me like I was standing still. So I'm trying to just take it easy and try to maybe learn a little bit of something, because whatever I thought I knew early in that first stage didn't pan out. So just hoping I can keep the nose clean on it and be there at the end.
For sure there now. Being a Louisiana boy, I know you're probably used to those hot summer heats and the hot spring days here. Of course, Tennessee a little bit damper down here, but adjusting the car down to the track here, how much do the temperatures kind of play out on those tires and as well as the car itself for the suspension control?
Yeah, that's the thing now. What me and Neil Quick were just talking about brake buys. So I think I've been running my brakes just a little bit too far forward. So I just rolled them back here under this yellow, and we'll see what that does. See if I can keep that right front a little bit cooler and use less of it to turn the car in the center, and hopefully that'll work out for me.
For sure there. Cody, we really appreciate your time here, sir.
No problem. Y'all have a good one.
You too. The number 66, ladies and gentlemen, Cody Harger here, having a little chat around the track here as we get back into place. Let's have a little listen in, though, with that man he just mentioned in the number 2, Neil Quick. Neil, how are you doing tonight, sir?
Been doing better.
Been doing better. Well, right now, I mean, so far, I would say not doing too bad, at least, because you were starting back at 7, go 3 spots up, hard charge, tied with, of course, Brian McCann and Brandon Medford here, but nevertheless, as this car is starting to get further into the race here, how do you think this is going to fare for the guys that are trying to go short run versus long run?
I hope we have short runs all the way out, because anything that's a long run is absolutely horrendous with these things. The right front just falls off them.
Presumably they get a little too hard to control, or where they're tightening up so bad?
Yeah, they just get really, really tight, and just keep moving the bias back and keeping them free as you can keep them. And at this point in time, I mean, I'm the wrong one to ask. They are a whole lot faster than I am.
Well, we can still get through the night. You'll be able to get to the next one next week. So, nevertheless, best of luck as you enter the round 12.
Thanks, buddy.
Neil Quick, ladies and gentlemen, here, getting ready to get back at it here as we're about to bring the drivers back to the green flag. Let's go around here, off of turn number 3, down to turn number 4, and we're back underway. So Neil Quick says his strategy right now is a short run, because right now that car cannot handle long runs. Very interesting situation, a little circumstance that I would not have thought to hear from the number 2. He's been so good at the mile longs, mile and a half and all that, and even the 2 mile longs we got to. I'm surprised that here at Bristol, this track is actually being a bit of a temperamental track at him. Very interesting. I would not have thought that. I would have thought, honestly, his car would have been pretty locked and loaded, pretty dialed up. Yeah, this kind of pace, this kind of field. But again, it looks like, you know, every driver is different on the strategies, and every driver is different on the sense of feeling they get when they run on certain courses. And it looks like for the number 2 anyway, this is not his track. Kevin McCann back in 7th place, by the way, race fans here. But you wouldn't have thought about it, because he's so far back behind the lap traffic here that he lapped earlier, mind I add. At 33 right now, probably in his head is thinking, I really, really hate it when this car gets that loose and gets that sideways on me, and I don't even realize it's happening until it's too little too late. And I'll be even real with you guys. I mean, I may have got a new base myself, one that is a direct drive, but even I admit, I test that thing on these cars. I still can't get a feel for these things, man. They just, after so long, it's just like all of a sudden things just completely reverse and switch. I will say it's better feeling now. It does feel more realistic, but other than that, it's still a very big enigma even to myself. So as a driver, you know, driving these things, I can only imagine what the heck any of these guys are thinking and going through, just trying to process this car, trying to process on a track as well that indicted by wise, it's very tough to pass and it's very tough to really deal with, especially considering how much damage you see a lot of these guys scrape, bruise, and tear up around here. But we are past halfway point here so far, race fans, and if you are enjoying the show and you're enjoying what you see, I will ask you only one thing. Please like and follow us up here on Facebook, head over to our YouTube, and subscribe there for more great content. We always have some live action shows and some live racing as well there, as with the replays we kind of put later on. But without you guys, again, without this show, we wouldn't be here. So we want to make sure we give you guys some love and appreciation there. Chris Wally in the number 5 right now, coming right up at the number 7, David E. Brown here as David tries to hold back Chris Wally's speed and run and momentum. And that 5, my friend, he does not give an inch. He does not care. He only wants one thing, and that's to make it to the round of 12. But then even when he gets to round of 12 here, you got a lot of guys that are going to be very difficult to kind of master off and corner off with, because a lot of them are going to be dealing with the added pressure that these McCann guys, the Medfords, and the Quicks are going to bring to the table. Wally, in my opinion, he's going to need to start digging in a little bit deeper. He's going to need to start practicing a little bit quicker and a little bit harder so he can find himself an even playing field. And that might be enough to make it a round of 8. I don't think it'll be enough for round of 4. But the final 4 is pretty much kind of a naysayer's land of madness and chaos. Maybe able to race your win in your in system, but that doesn't mean anything for these guys. Last point down. Whoa, hold on there, Medford. Hold on. And the Medford, he is able to hold on. You saw earlier, though, Tim Schofield, when he got loose in that same corner, that car was almost impossible to drive back off from. Oh, it looks like he might introduce Neil Quickto to the bump and run out of turn number 4, down on the ends. That was a huge move by the 46. You saw him come so close to getting that 2's rear end corner panel to drive him up a little bit. Now the proper way to give the bump and run here is to put them in the back and push them up so you can sneak onto their inside. But again, doing that move, you got to be very careful, because there's sometimes you don't get that. You get literally their corner panel, and then it's well, let's just say most of these guys are probably wishing they could find a place to hide at that point. And I'm not talking about the guy that spun, but rather the one that did the spinning. And right now, the 66 Cody Harger is trying to be very aware of that and trying to keep out of the trouble zone. You heard him earlier on say he's trying to watch his brake bias. He's trying to get the car to kind of rotate around the track a little bit better. Now you're wondering at home, how exactly do you rotate a car around this track? Shouldn't you just steer more in and it would give you more speed? No, that's not quite how it works. When you're running on tracks like this, you need to get that car to stay as straight as possible with the track. Almost like you're kind of blending the feel in. Kind of, oh, speaking of blending in, a little trouble down turn 4 once again. And Kevin McCann and Harger are the ones involved in it. And look at Chris Medford just swing right by him between daily double 2 for the price of 1. Chris Medford delivers the daily double. Well, Kevin and Cody, I guarantee you weren't expecting that to happen. But again, these next gens, such an enigma, literally giving them troubles. And Medford able to capitalize on it with no trouble whatsoever. Laps winding down here, and Troy Radford now looking to finally make some pace and make up some ground from Brian McCann earlier. It's the sea of green, as we like to say here on PT Racing TV, as this is currently Radford's run. He's got a sea of green lined up. Problem is that lap wasn't quite as fast. Brian McCann starting to take a bit of an advantage here. He needs to watch himself, really needs to keep his eye on the prize and keep himself on the target line. That's the difficult part about running this kind of circuit. And Brian's the master, in my opinion, on literally playing possum with this field. He's not a bump and run kind of guy, but he is a long run, nose it in kind of guy. And that's what makes him so darn difficult to deal with. But look at this tire here. Look at the way Kevin is kind of steering in. You notice how he's not trying to drive it as hard in or hard off. He's not turning so quickly. He's being very smooth and rhythmic. you're probably wondering at home, how is it you do that? Like, what do you need to do to even do that in general? Well, again, a lot of times it's offset and steering ratio on that end, but long-term wise, the brake bias is actually a bit of a saving grace, saving keep, if you will. That brake bias, what it does is either helps you, it either lowers how much braking you're going into the turn without using your brakes, or it's using it's using less of your brake by simply just backing off and giving yourself more room to basically carry the RPMs and the speed through. Once you lay off that throttle, the way the brake bias works, it's almost kind of like an engine stop. Think of the engine having its own personal little brake pedal in there. When you get off the gas, the brake pedal inside the engine decides to just kind of ease up a bit, kind of relax a little down on the track. And that's how it maneuvers, that's how it corners off as pit road stops are being made here. So when you hear someone say they're getting that brake bias to be a little bit more smoothed out, or they're trying to get the car to rotate, as you heard earlier from Harger, they're trying to ease into the turn, they're trying to rotate the car with the rear end kicked outwards, and the front end kind of saves it from getting too loose or getting too wild or rambunctious here. Brian McCann here still with the race lead, piloting up with about, I think it's like about 50 laps left to go before we enter into the stage break. We're seeing at 50, but about 30 or 40 here. Radford, hot on the clutch, so hot on his nose. Man, talk about a guy that just will not quit. Troy Radford, he won here last time. He wants to do it again. He's been thinking and thinking over and over. This season has been a bit of a long run, kind of a Horner-Day season, but this one seems like his track and his playing field. But if you couldn't tell as well, there is a certain guy that needs to make this track his home palace when it came to doing the hardest of runs and the hardest of racing, and Brian McCann didn't make that kind of easy enough for you to remember. He lives by the code and he stands by the code, and I think you guys all know it, but if you don't, it's raise hell and praise Dale. His brother Kevin McCann right now still trying to get up there at the number 46, so Chris Mefford. As you see, Brandon Mefford so far up ahead already, not really having to worry too much about what's going on or what to really deal with. Schofield's damage earlier as well, getting cleared up as he lost in it's good at a crapshoot turn in turn 4. Trying to get up there right now with the number 22 of Matt Kopp. It's a 96 of David Tremblay. Is pretty much locked up and ahead, but about a 5-second gap between him and Kopp. Kevin McCann and the rest of the field, Brian, Troy, Brandon Mefford, Chris Mefford, they have all now lapped up to the corners of the 8th position. Matt Kopp here in that 22, you see being very lethargic, almost very symbolically watching every angle, every little corner. I always hold my breath when I see a guy do that down there, because at that point you know it might not end well for you or them. And that might be what we're about to see here. Looks like the 54 Cook Quick, not wanting to be put any more laps down, is going to have to deal with the added pressure of Matt Kopp kind of coming around at him. Firing off hard, firing off quickly, looking for some openings, looking for some runoff here. Every single driver for themselves. Chris Mefford here in the number 46, dealing with some company from that 66 here of Cody Harger. Harger, by the way, a lap down, trying to get his laps back from that pit stop earlier. He made it. He took a very, very big risk going into pit road when he did, and honestly, I don't know if it was necessarily the right time or the right area, but it looks like he had a plan and he was going to stick to it. I think his plan was get tires, get fuel, and then use a little bit of that brake bias fix up to help give him some more time to rotate and fire down. Well, we're closing up on the final laps here of the stage 2 break. in stage 2 right now has given us great results once more, as Bristol Motor Speedway has been known to do. But the thing that surprised me all day long is just how controlled these drivers have been. Remember, I always said this next gen Cup car is probably one of the toughest things to deal with, much less on a track like this. It's almost nearly impossible. Yet these guys, they've been so, methodically speaking, under control. They haven't gotten too out of place, too out of hand. They've almost seemingly just kept themselves away from trouble, except for the guys fighting for the lead. And Brandon Medford now literally using that strategy that he learned from his family member Chris, as well as the other McCanns and the boys up ahead like Troy Radford. He paid very close attention this time to that right front. Now he's on a full brigade charge as Radford opened the door up there for him just a slight bit. Couldn't quite get the pass. Looking for an opening here. This is just pure racing right now, my friends. This is the kind of racing you want to see on PTM Racing TV. You don't want that heavy neglect of a track or heavy neglect of a car. This is pure unaltered horsepower and control, to say the least, in my opinion, and it's the way we like it. It's the way we want to see it. Radford is looking for any kind of speed, any kind of openings. Get back at Brian McCann. You can see he's sticking it in deep, diving in hard as he goes on the top side. If he doesn't get to that top side and then get a way to dive it off quicker, he feels like he can't get McCann, because McCann, he's driving a much different line here. He's being a little bit more conservative, driving towards the bottom in the middle lane, but again, that's not necessarily the fastest line all the time. I've only been able to ever make it work one time, and that was literally back on NASCAR Heat 4. I actually got to work on a green-white checkered finish, and that was just because I had to block somebody, but I knew if my bumper was going to get tagged, it was going to get me good. And caution flies out as Radford looked for the opening and looked for the shot. Wasn't to be. Well, Kevin won stage 1. This time Brian will get a few extra points to help out his cause in stage number 2. And with that said, you look at the lap counter. There is only 50 laps remaining in this race. How on earth are any of these guys going to be able to survive and manage with this amount of pace, this amount of control? And will anyone be able to take down Radford or any of the McCanns? You're about to find out on PTM Racing TV when we come back. Stay tuned. More action here for the iRacing IROC Challenge Series. Race fans, tonight's presentation and broadcast here has been presented in part by Spartan Logistics Management LLC, by R&R Racewear, the official web store and merchandise line for iRacing and the IROC Challenge Series, by Loud Pedal Gaming TV, smashing the loud pedal for your viewing entertainment, by SimSpeedShop.com, by Track Time Entertainment, and by our friends at 5 Star Graphics. A very big thank you from us here at PTM Racing TV and the IROC Challenge Series for everybody's support, for coming on out and helping out with the show and helping out with the racing. And race fans, thank you so much for coming out as well to tune in and watch some heavy action from the IROC Challenge Series. Well, David E. Brown right now will stay on out, so I think I cannot think of a better time to go ahead and have a little chat with him if he's willing to talk here. David, you got a copy down there? I think he might have us on mute right now, so which says well, looks like he does have us on mute, so it looks like he does not want to talk with us. I can't blame him. I think he's trying to avoid that broadcaster curse of ours. We've been known to give it once in a while to some of these guys. Well, we'll wait on David Tremblay here in the 96 as he's in pit road at the moment. As he just currently is kind of riding around ready to seal this one back up. Cody Harker, I believe, also might have had to deal with a pit stop penalty earlier. That's why he fell so many laps down. I couldn't quite tell earlier, but it looks like that might be the case. Tremblay entering in pit road in the 96. He's all cleared up and ready to go. We'll talk with him as soon as he gets out of pit road here. And he's coming out now, so As it brings it right out of pit road, race fans, here is the number 96 here, David Trumbley. And Trumbley, you know, talk about really having to mix and manage here with the lap traffic while also kind of fighting off some heavy hitters behind you. This 96 has definitely wanting to earn its keep into the round of 12, isn't it?
Yeah, I was really hoping David Brown would stay there on the lead lap so I could get the lucky dog, but didn't quite happen.
Well, we were about to talk with him too and try to get a word with him about that, but it looks like he kind of had us on mute the whole time, so we kind of left him alone. But now, knowing that you're not going to get that lucky dog, do you think there may be another caution coming up soon enough with these guys?
Oh man, that's what I'm hoping for.
Well,
I'm hoping I don't get involved in it.
well, we certainly hope not either, but nevertheless, we wish you the best of luck as we're about to get back to the green flag.
Yep, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was David Tremblay in the 96 as we're now set to take part in another round of racing. This is your final stage. Here we go. Green flag back on out. It's time to crown ourselves a winner. And almost like a rocket ship on a launching pad, Brian McCann just shoot straight for the moon. I guarantee you one thing now, boys and girls. These guys are not going to hold back. This might be the time you see some drivers get a little bit heated because they are looking for positions, they're looking for spots, and nobody looking for more spots and more of an open-ended fight here back up to the fray than at 33 of Kevin McCann here. Kevin is literally on a mission right now to make up for the problem earlier on, losing it in the corner. He's got a heavy host of drivers firing it down though as Brandon Medford, number 83, tries to pile it up around him. Side by side, both guys in a hot debate, hot battle. The Medfords laying low, I guarantee you, with about 20 to go, though, they'll start to really move some chains and move some positions up. Brian McCann so far ahead of Troy Radford here. He's keeping his distance and keeping himself well diverse in the art of 2020 social distancing by making it pretty much his mission to do it even further than anybody else. You know, the fact Neil Quick said earlier on, I really hope we have short runs. He's pretty much been keeping it under control, keeping it steady in this race here. He has not had a really bad moment or really anything that would consider a bad moment here. And yet the car itself, it seems like it's in a nice little ended round race. Troy Radford, Brian McCann, and Kevin McCann, they're all now your top three here, so it looks like that run and that power boost that the 33 was looking for earlier might have been found, but now how much has he tore up just trying to get back into the lead position? Coming up through the ranks right now, Radford and McCann's now closing in on one another. Each driver in it for themselves, each driver looking for that bit of speed, that bit of control, especially with these closing laps winding down. And right behind him, of course, the A3 of Brandon Medford is not far behind. Here comes Kevin, though, on the inside. Pass on Radford. Radford opens the door up on the bottom, and that's where they're going to shoot for. Both guys in a heated debate, and it looks like it might be Medford not quite getting the better of Troy. It looks like Radford was able to hold him down. Honestly, the night's been pretty quick, pretty stable, and it's been pretty wild on multiple occasions. Where drivers trying to find angles and trying to find runs off here. And I think Kevin, even though he knows his brother is trying to get into the championship round of 12, he doesn't seem to really care too much about his hopes or dreams because he's going to put the bumper and the boots up to the fight and into the fray, gets the corner panels on the charge and on the run. He takes position away from Brian McCann, your new leader, the number 33. And with only 30 laps left to go, now this becomes a struggle of survival and conquer. Survive and run, survive and speed, and survive and dish out anything you can bring to thee. Oh, look at this now. Brian McCann going to have some company right behind him here. Here comes Troy Radford, smelling blood in the water like a shark in the ocean. He's looking for a spot. Oh, but he has a little bit of control off turn 4. Once again, the troublesome turn 4 has gotten another driver, got a little loose off the edge there. Doug Wysocki literally slamming it up in the wall just to stay out of the way of these guys. He does not want to affect the outcome of this race whatsoever. We have but a mere 25 laps left to go. And these guys tonight, in my opinion, have pulled off some of the best racing we've seen all season round. With close corner racing, close corner fight and action and shooting around the track. This is what we love to see, and this is the kind of moments we want to get to. I know I recently tweeted about being races a little shorter and not having them as long. Well, this is the kind of racing, in my opinion, that is just perfectly set and perfectly in motion. Not too long and it's not too short. This is the race I feel we do not get enough of here in the real life side of things. In the virtual world, though, it seems like every broadcast there's always something cool and something different, and it seems like it's just getting better and better as we go along with time and age. I just wish I could translate that in real life racing, unfortunately, for the NASCAR side of things. The third and short track racing's fine. I'm not gonna lie there. I'm a bit biased, so you guys can come at me for that one. 20 now left to go, and Brian McCann here laying back just a little bit. Kevin, he's got a huge lead right now, but you can see he hasn't quite left behind family members just yet. I think he's really just trying to avoid getting himself into trouble, getting himself into a bit of a problematic zone. And Troy Radford looking to shoot it on the bottom. If you can start to hammer down quicker on the bottom, then you can make it faster than the outside. But the problem is, you tear up so much of that tire just by laying down rubber on that end, especially when stuff like this happens right here. No! No! Oh, and that's what they did not want to see. Brian McCann and Troy Radford wrecked on the back straightaway of all things. Well, Neil Quick, you get your way, sir, and David Tremblay gets his way as well. But the story is the 94 and the number 3 getting into it off the corner. A faster pair will be needed entirely here, but what has happened? Radford, a huge run, coming down to the corners. He deals with traffic. You can see the car is slightly loose. He's lost control here, and Brian McCann was trying to avoid traffic as it was too. Both guys colliding in and both unfortunately wrecking each other a little bit. Major damage on the 94. The 3 was able to secure at least somewhat control of the car and is able to only take minor damage in the scuffle, but that's still enough to affect the aerodynamics of that car and the aero package that it brings to the table. Will it be, he'll have to go for an instant repair, in my opinion, just to survive this one. There it is right there, that slight bobble, that's all it took. Yeah, Radford knew that it wasn't McCann's fault, obviously. It wasn't lap traffic's fault either. There was just, he knew. That's the racing ordeal. That's the code of short track racing. And he found himself in the middle of it. Unbelievable. Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. Craziness in between. Well, Kevin McCann's going to stay out. He's not going to worry about anything but just keeping himself under control. David Tremblay now moving into second. Apparel TV saying Chris Wally for the win and for Wally for president. A lot of love down there for that 5, but unless he can get that couple laps back, I don't think this is going to give him any chances in this one. Kevin McCann's making a big risk out here, staying out as long as he's going to. Neil Quick right now behind the field and currently behind the bit of the 8 ball, if you will. He got himself into trouble earlier and has been put into a penalty, it looks like. Brandon Medford, Chris Medford are going to be in the second and third place run. And now things are about to get a bit crazier and a little bit more wild here on PTM Racing TV. And absolute chaos here on the show, to say the least. We'll take it down now and talk with our guys in the back here. Show them some love here. Number 12, Tim Schofield, joins me now. And Schofield, what a tough break it's been all day around, man, and all night. You've had troubles earlier on, turn number 4, and it got a few of these guys loose, and it got yourself loose earlier. I guarantee you that's not what you wanted, is it?
No, it's been a rough night. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you just fine.
All right. Yeah, it's been rough. I, made that mistake, lap 15 or whatever, and Wally graced us with a quick repair, so I was able to get the car fixed. But just hard to find speed. Burned up my tires early in that first stage and fell behind, and just kind of riding, trying to keep up and take advantage of what I can.
Take advantage of what you can, try to hope for the best, but nevertheless, here, Schofield, we really do appreciate your time here, bud. Best of luck on these final laps.
Thank you.
You could hear the dejection there in his voice and his heart. He knows this was not his night. The green flag restart we go. We are back underway. Kevin McCann, your race leader. Remember earlier on, he spun it out in turn number 4. Lost control of the car. Or excuse me, in turn number 2, I should say. Now he's going to have to deal with some added pressure behind him. Last time it was just pressure of himself. This time it's pressure of folks behind it. Did he learn from his mistake? Trevely, by the way, back on the lead lap. Radford is in the sixth place spot right now. The Medford second and third, respectively. David E. Brown and Troy Radford now all in that top 5 sanctuary. But here comes a battle dash from the 3. McCann trying to get as much points as he can. He knows if he does not figure something out sooner rather than later, he knows he's in trouble. Brown is looking for the max amount of points, trying to hold back that 3 with only 9 laps to go. Brian, I gotta believe, gotta be a little bit annoyed, a little irritated with what he's dealing with, but he's gonna have to deal with even more because look up front, the battle for the race lead, and David E. Brown has crashed it out as they go to the caution. Did Brandon get ahead of McCann? I think he did. If this is not looking good here in a cutoff race for that 7, David E. Brown is in major trouble. This could be literally the end of his season, of that playoff run. If he's not careful here, what happened? Watching off turn number 4. Yeah, right there. Turn 4 gets another one, this time all on his own. He drove it too hard. You can see he was trying to block. He was trying to evade any trouble from these guys, but he knew he was in a very tight corner. This is a very tough scenario right here. That flat spotted end, he hit it hard. And that's the way you're supposed to do it coming off that corner here, but this is what happened in this corner. Hear that stutter? He kind of stuttered because he knew he was in trouble. Car got too ramped up and it went straight shooting into the wall, and the 7 now is in a major deadlock position. Wow. And my friends, this is literally turning into a whole another scenario. Brandon Medford has a big chance to maybe sneak away with one here if he can, but will he be able to do it? We'll find out in just a second. Right now, as we're joined in by the number 22, Matt Kopp, joining me on the show here. And Matt, right now, top 10 kind of in your sights and in your mind, but it seems like this track has been getting a few of you guys in the better of you at times as well. What's going on down here?
When it started the run, it's kind of loose off the corner. Just kind of got to let the tires come in. And then after that, you just got to find your groove and keep rolling and keeping it out of the wall and keeping it pointed straight.
And with the damage on that right side, how much has that kind of tightened up on the car here? It really made things a little more difficult to get around here at this half mile.
Yeah, not too awful bad though. It's aerodynamics don't play a big part on this track, so as long as it still turns and I maintain here, I'll be all right.
All right, Cop. We really appreciate your time here, bud.
Thanks, sir.
Back up, ladies and gentlemen, number 22 here. We're bringing in Doug Wysocki now onto the call. And Doug, you know, we talked earlier on with the guy that unfortunately you two got into with earlier, but right now I know this one kind of breaks the heart a little bit, knowing this one was in a good charge and a good run, but you're still hanging in there though in that 34. Definitely got to give some respect for that, sir.
Yeah, man. I'm not good at all at Bristol. It's tough for me. But, yeah, I'm hanging in there. We're going to finish the laps and have some fun.
Indeed, indeed, my friend. With this being also coming up from a short course to a road course next week at Watkins Glen, how much of the difficulty and how much of the hard racing you think is going to be put on from here to there, you think?
Quite a bit, I would assume. Yeah, it's going to be some of these guys are really good at short tracks and road racing, man. They're going to shine. So it'll be fun. Just got to keep plugging forward.
Absolutely. Wysocki, thank you for your time. Best of luck on these final laps.
Thank you.
Doug Wysocki, ladies and gentlemen, the number 34 driver. Race fans, it's pretty much a green-white checkered scenario. This isn't full-on overtime, but it's definitely close to it. They have 2 laps remaining. Come to the green. Brandon Mefford and Chris Mefford, neither one want to give this win up. These 2 brothers are going to put the pedal straight into that metal and put everything on the line for one chance to win at Bristol. It's go time here. Green flag is out. And Troy Radford, hang on just a minute. Look out from the back. Here comes the 94. Brandon is in trouble. Radford's coming for him off of turn 4. Straight to the inside. Radford got a run there. Radford trying to get a move on him, trying to get the bumper to him. He's going to try to get him on the back straightaway. Got an opening there into the turn. Brandon Medford open the door again. They're side by side. Collision course. Radford takes the win. Radford with a final bump and run in a corner off the edge takes the win from Brandon Medford and Chris Medford to the line. Unbelievable. Wow! You cannot be serious. That is what you call a wild finish. And back to back, Radford gets revenge and seals another race deal and also advances into the round of 12 with this victory in the number 94. He had to go for it all, and Brandon Medford, I guarantee you, probably is not too happy about that, but he knew what he had to do, and he would have probably done the same thing. They did the same thing coming off that corner, but what an impressive race and unbelievable. I am speechless. That is absolutely crazy. Your finisher is presented in part by Spartan Logistics Management LLC, now on your screen here, but this is how it all comes down. Radford by a mere 0.08 of a second takes down Medford. Brian McCann's going to have to go third. Fourth will go to Brandon Medford after that little tag from the 94. Kevin McCann goes fifth. A hard charge dashed out by a mere just swing of the laps and the counters of the pit stops. David Tremblay, a great showing from him, comes away sixth. Davey D. Brown just had a bad break, but comes away 7th either way. Chris White, good showing, top 8. He goes top 10, gets 8th. Matt Kopp goes 9th, and then 10th, Neil Quick to round out your field. But oh my word, race fans, I have no idea how to really go about this one. We're just going to bring the drivers into the interview booth, and we're going to go from there. But your top 3, join me in. Brian McCann, with the name and the face that usually ran this place, as I like to say, as he comes away third here. Brian, congratulations on that one here. And, boy, what a wild final 2 corners. Everything went straight to the wall and thrown out the window, didn't it?
Yeah, I knew a little 3-lap shootout there was some moves were going to be made, and sure enough, there in the last turn.
In the last turn, the last corners, and boy, you had to put up a fight as well here. You had a great long run all day long. The right front tire seemed to be really digging into its clutches and digging its heels all day. Never had that trouble, but it just didn't quite perform at the very last bit with a short run, did it, in this case?
Nah, I wasn't really too good on the short run. Actually, there in the stage 2, I wasn't really good on the long run. So, yeah, I kind of struggled a little bit tonight.
It would have been hard to kind of tell on stage 2, considering you won that one. But a big point stay still to come away from. I know you got a lot on your mind, a lot on your play as you enter into Watkins Glen next week. So who do you want to thank you for this one?
Wally for putting this show on. You know, he does the paint jobs for all these cars. He added the green stripes to them this week, and everybody else behind the scenes that helps them, or sponsors. You know, big thanks to our sponsors, and you know, my wife, family, and everybody watching tonight. Thank you.
For sure there, Brian. Congratulations, man. A well-deserved top 3, as usual, here on the show. Brian McCann, ladies and gentlemen, comes away third out of it all. We're now going to bring in maybe a guy that I don't even think really was expecting to be second place. I think he was expecting maybe to be put back up to the front or in the first or third slot. But Medford, you're going to come away second tonight once again. I know this is another bridesmaid story tale for you, but I really don't think you can be too mad considering that you kind of went around your family member in the 8-3 as was Radford kind of just took him to the wall coming in 3 and 4 there.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate what happened. I know they was racing hard, but I think things could just went on by and just settle for a 1-2-3. But things happen.
Things can happen. Of course, it is Bristol Motor Speedway. There is a bit of a hard charge and a bit of a hard run dash when there's only 2 to go, of course. But for you and your crew here, I know the second place finish is obviously going to help you guys advance into the next round of racing. But for what's going to now happen, how difficult do you think it's going to be when you guys now have to face the road course challenge there at Watkins Glen next week?
Road courses are always a challenge. I mean, it's basically wondering who's gonna finish second. Aaron Smith's just a road course king around here, so it's just basically a battle who's gonna finish second. But it's just gonna be fun. These things are still a handful. There's not as much grip in these things as there used to be. So you're gonna have a lot of throttle control.
For sure there. Well, throttle control going to be big. Braking going to be even more important as it was here at Bristol tonight. But nevertheless, Medford, congratulations on the second place finish. Who do you want to thank for this one?
I'd like to thank you guys for the broadcast, all our sponsors for the league. Congrats to Troy on his win. Want to give a heavenly shout out. Happy birthday to my dad. He would have turned 60 yesterday. Um, you know, thanks for all of our causes. You know, we love racing for our causes. You know, it makes a lot funner racing for something instead of just a plain old Jane sponsor. Um, so I want to thank them for coming along.
Very big tribute to your family member and well wishes from us here at PTM TV to him. And congratulations to you as well for this one, sir.
Awesome. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Medford, the number 46, coming away tonight with a second place finish as this man goes back to back in this one. Radford will get his win back at Bristol Motor Speedway. Troy, congratulations and unreal final 2 laps. You want to go through it or you want me to even bring anything up about it?
No, I mean, just completely a mistake on my part. I was underneath Brandon and touched the gas mid corner, just barely, about like quarter throttle, and it bound up the right front. And not any room for error here. So it's not anything intentional. And I hate it. If I could give him the win, I would. I didn't deserve that.
Yeah, we did notice that you came off that front straightaway here. You pretty much parked it right in front. No burnouts, no nothing. It looked like really, in your mind, like we were kind of saying just a second ago, just weren't going to take it that way. But at the same time, this does lock you into the round of 12. And, this may have been your coup de grace to kind of get you more back into that championship hunt. I mean, when you focus on the road course next week, I mean, does this kind of help alleviate some of the pressure?
I mean, not really. I was with my stages tonight. I was in before that anyway. Like I didn't have to win that race to get in. So it's definitely not anything that I wanted. So it's not, again, for me getting up there and celebrating a win, that's not a win for me to celebrate. So, hate it for Brandon. I was trying to make a good race of it and just screwed up. But, not really any pressure. It's any pressure off because, you look at the way that the chase is going to go down. Every round has its own pressure, and I think all of the Falcon guys here, I believe, we're all moving on to the next round. So, that's a good thing, but definitely a lot of work to do to catch the fast guys.
For sure there. Well, nevertheless, if you wanted to make it interesting, well, let's just say the broadcast up here got pretty interesting. So we really do appreciate you, though, coming on board. Congratulations on the win. I know you may not want to take it, but who do you want to thank you for this one?
Of course, just Lucky Finn Project, Evans-based Mommy, as well as the guys over at Falcon. And, you guys, everybody who puts on the league, it's a lot of work to run these things. And, can't thank them enough.
We appreciate you coming on board here at Radford. Congratulations on the race win. We'll see you next time out at Watkins Glen.
Thank you.
You can hear it in his voice. He doesn't want it, but he'll take it. Troy Radford wins at Bristol Motor Speedway. Race fans, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for everyone that came on by. A big thank you to Spartan Logistics Management LLC, R&R Racewear, Loud Pedal Gaming TV, SimSpeedShop.com, Track Time Entertainment, and 5-Star Graphics. From the bottom of our hearts here on PTM Racing TV, thank you so much for your support. Thank you everybody that tuned on in. This was wild. This was chaotic. We wouldn't have it any other way. While the drivers regroup and refocus for Watkins Glen, we'll see you guys next time when the green flag flies here on PTM Racing TV.